Tonight on Cronkite News, setting another record, the number of heat-related deaths in the valley tops 200. The reason some experience the heat more than others.
And millions of dollars being sent to help along the Arizona-Mexico border as border crossings surge.
And the Arizona Cardinals are finally in the win column. We'll walk you through how Jonathan Gannon earned his first victory as a head coach. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Tabitha Bland.
And I'm Jacob Luthi. Thank you for joining us. It's been a summer of shocking numbers. Phoenix set a record with 55 straight days of temperatures over 110 degrees.
And 35 nights when temps did not fall below 90. Also a record. But one record is even less welcome, as Alexandria Cullen reports from our Washington bureau.
By early September, there were already 202 confirmed heat-related deaths in Maricopa County, up from 175 at the same time last year. And another 356 deaths could be heat-related, compared to 238 that were under review at the same time last year.
July 2023 was the hottest month on record, which that beat the previous record of August 2020. And then also August of 2023 was the second hottest August on record. So, not just July, but also August were extremely hot.
That probably comes as no surprise to anyone who lived in Arizona this summer. But being a veteran of the desert heat is no protection, which can lead people to underestimate the danger, says Dr. Jeff Comp.
No matter how long you've lived here, no matter how much adaptation you have, you ultimately just get too hot. And this is unfortunately, it's really heavily impacting the homeless population.
It's not just people who are unhoused who are suffering from the summer's historic heat. Indoor heat-related deaths are increasing as well. In many of those cases, victims did not have air conditioning or it was not on because the AC was broken or the victims could not afford to run it.
We automatically think about our unsheltered neighbors, which face a huge risk and vulnerability through the summer. We also see our indoor death numbers climbing every year.
According to the latest numbers from Maricopa County's Department of Public Health, 48% of deaths as of early this month were from non-homeless living situations. And Warner says it's not just an urban problem. She said people and organizations alike are working on ways to prevent any more heat deaths or injuries to people across Arizona.
There are definitely efforts across the state to figure out what heat relief looks like, not just for the major cities, but for rural areas as well, which pose a whole different set of challenges than we face in Maricopa County.
Warner says that the Heat Relief Network was able to expand its offerings this summer to include hydration stations, cooling centers, and respite centers. In Washington, Alexandria Cullen, Cronkite News.
Border crossings along the southern border are surging, and states are asking for help. Nationwide, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol reported its officers encountering more than 232,000 crossers in August. The group also says close to 9,000 people were arrested on Sunday alone. Many of these apprehensions happened in Texas. This is one of the crossings in Eagle Pass, Texas. The mayor says that the solution to the migrant surge needs to come from the federal government.
We're here abandoned, we're on the border, we're asking for help. This is unacceptable. Please, just enforce the laws that are on the books. We're a nation of laws. That's all I ask for, is that it shouldn't be like this.
Meantime, in Arizona, Governor Katie Hobbs' administration is allocating $10 million to assist the Nogales Police Department. Hobbs says the money will be used to buy better equipment for the force. Today is Yom Kippur, considered one of the most important Jewish holidays.
This holiday honors the end of a 10-day period, also known as the Days of Awe. Those days are a time of introspection and repentance that follows Rosh Hashanah, known as the Jewish New Year.
Cronkite News reporter Adriana Gonzalez-Chavez tells us more about the holidays coming up and how the Jewish population has grown in Arizona.
Yom Kippur is usually observed with a 25-hour fast, worship, and time for reflection. Other absorbed Jewish holidays that precede are Sukkot and Hanukkah. The Jewish population has grown by nearly 20% since 2002, according to a 2019 ASU survey. Jeremy Schneider, a rabbi and local leader of the Jewish community in Arizona, says he has seen his congregation grow from 100 to nearly 400 families in the last decade.
Every time I see An industry announced that they're going to build in the valley. I imagine that means more growth in the Jewish community, not just to the community in the valley.
Many of the new families, he says, are from out of state.
I tell them that it's okay because literally the vast majority of our community is new in the last decade.
Frank Jacobson, a member of the 2019 Jewish Community Study, says the findings reflect more than just numbers.
And I think we have this next generation of leadership to thank for, seeing that there is a real need to work together in the community.
In the survey, Jacobson also found that even with differences in affiliation to the faith, the values of the Jewish community are what really keep them connected.
And it's just amazing to me to see the responses that come up on comments from people, always with suggestions. Here, try my synagogue. Here, try my kosher market. Here, you want this, you want that. Where can I go to services for the high holidays?
Sukkot is celebrated on September 29th through October 6th, and Hanukkah begins December 7th and ends on December 15th. In the newsroom, Adriana Gonzalez-Chavez, Cronkite News.
Meanwhile, the writer's strike that's partially responsible for shutting down Hollywood and productions here in Arizona could soon be over. That's because the Writers Guild of America has reached a tentative deal with the group representing the big movie studios, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. The agreement still needs to be approved by the board and members of the WGA, who began the strike nearly 5 months ago. Members of the Screen Actors Guild still remain on strike, but people who work in the industry here in Arizona are optimistic.
It's really important for Arizona, especially and all over the country, that the writers and the actors get back to work.
I'm hopeful that they got everything that they wanted and needed in it, and I'm also hopeful that it sets a good precedent.
And an attorney for Kari Lake was in court for a second day today, attempting to get access to signed ballot envelopes from the 2022 election. As you know, Lake ran for governor but lost by more than 17,000 votes to Katie Hobbs. Now, Lake wants a judge to let her see the signatures of about 1.3 million voters. Lake's attorney had requested access to the envelopes early this year, but was denied by the Maricopa County Recorder Office and Election Department.
Coming up next, a special visit to Phoenix. President Biden is expected to make a stop in Phoenix this week, the person the president is looking to honor the memory of.
And coming up, I'll have the answer behind why you might see less butterflies this season. Stay with us.
We tell ourselves stories as a nation.
These stories need to be highlighted, they need to be explored. We're the dreamers.
How serious is America's commitment to looking at its history? How can we learn from the past?
Douglas said, "You're going to look me in the eye and see my humanity."
It's illuminating. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
It's pretty great.
There's so much richness to Black life and Black culture.
I think the story of Muslims in America is the story of America.
Tonight, they are free.
I cannot imagine how excited he must have been.
It's a wonderful feeling. This is why we do this.
It makes me even more committed to struggling for a better world.
Here at the TV Production and Graphics Lab, we are behind the scenes making the news happen. Gain experience in the control room directing, teledirecting, and rolling the audio of every Cronkite News show. Run the floor and work in a professional environment, honing your skills for the future. Create graphics that will be seen by the local community on Arizona PBS. Be a part of the bloodline that makes the Cronkite News shows possible.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage.
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Welcome back. From cacti to desert plants, the intense heat across the state has impacted nature of all kinds, including those that migrate, like butterflies. Cronkite News reporter Sydney Whitty found out why less might be migrating to Arizona.
And as we head into fall, butterflies typically start migrating to Arizona. But this year, it may look a little different with a dry monsoon and record-breaking heat. Experts are concerned that butterflies could be impacted by a lack of blossoming plants and flowers. Blossoming flowers, nectar plants, and milkweed are plants that migrating butterflies in Arizona rely on to receive nutrients, according to Derek Kellogg, an entomologist at Butterfly Wonderland. And this year, their food source may be scarce.
When it's really hot, both nectar plants and host plants can suffer. And that can mean that there's not enough food for their caterpillars to develop on, but it can also mean that there's not enough food for the adult butterflies to be able to survive on.
Kellogg says a changing climate is impacting migrating species, like monarchs the most. And if they can't make it to their winter home, typically Mexico or California, they will simply drop out of migration.
Those overwintering sites are basically necessary if they can't survive the winter. But as we move to a point where they can survive the winter, that's where we start to see a situation where these large and spectacular migrations are increasingly under threat.
Though Arizona is not where most butterflies roost for winter, it can be a major destination for them to gain nutrients and decide where to migrate next. Some butterflies, like this one, utilize Arizona as a pit stop to refuel before heading to Mexico, where they'll meet 2 to 5 million butterflies to hibernate. That's according to Butterfly Wonderland, and one conservatory supervisor says even though butterflies seek shelter under leaves during extreme heat, it can cause flying and migration difficulty.
If the temperatures get extremely hot, they kind of just wilt or faint. They can even be kind of just flying along and just get overheated and sort of dive bomb.
And she estimates Arizona will see less butterflies this season.
This summer, where it was so hot and dry, my educated guess would be that we're going to have less flowering plants going into the fall, and we'll see less butterflies.
Data will be released in the upcoming weeks about exactly how many butterflies have migrated through Arizona, and that will be compared to previous years. In Phoenix, Sydney Whitty, Cronkite News. Back to you.
President Biden will be making a stop right here in Phoenix this week. The president will arrive on Thursday. Biden is expected to deliver a speech that will pay tribute to the late Arizona Senator John McCain. The two had a high-profile friendship, even though they were a part of opposing political parties.
The Valentine fire burning in the northeast of Arizona is now 80% contained. Firefighters have been trying to fight the fire since mid-August. They blame lightning in the area for the cause of the fire. So far, it has taken more than 7,200 acres. More than 195 rescue personnel have been called to fight the fire, including fire personnel from Tucson.
Fall is finally here, which means temperatures are finally dropping. And as Adriana Gonzalez Chavez explains, a major cool down is on the way.
Good evening, everyone. Looking at our evening planner for tonight, we're sitting about 96 degrees right now, and we're going to cool all the way down to 89 degrees tonight by 10 p.m. Looking into our future forecast, all across Arizona, we see nothing but clear skies, no chances of clouds, and no chances of rain. Looking until Wednesday morning, but a different story across the country. Portland and Seattle area experiencing storms, also for the Florida area, also having a chance of storms and rain. Looking back at Arizona, our low temperatures are going to be pretty chilly up north, with the Grand Canyon hitting a low of 37, Flagstaff area hitting a low of 38 degrees, while the southwest part of the state will be in the 70s, with Gila Bend hitting a low of 72 degrees, Phoenix a low of 77, Lake Havasu a low of 72. And then looking into our high temperatures, the southwest part of Arizona will be in the triple digits, with Phoenix hitting a high of 106, Casa Grande a high of 102, and then Yuma hitting a high of 104 for tomorrow. And then looking into our 8-day forecast, Tuesday, sunny skies with Wednesday and Thursday, chance of clouds with Wednesday hitting a high of 105. And then Friday through Tuesday, we clear right back up again. And for the first time, some really good news. We will be hitting highs in the 80 degrees with Sunday hitting a high of 87, Monday high of 89, and then we warm up again a little bit on Tuesday, hitting a high of 91 and a low of 66. I'm Adriana Gonzalez Chavez from the Cronkite Weather Center.
Sam Stern is joining us from the newsroom with what's coming up next with sports.
Thanks, Tabitha, and I gotta say, I'm excited for this one as well. Still to come, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. We'll have more on how the Sun Devils nearly upset one of the top programs in college football.
And that's the way it is. Monday, September.
Newscasting has changed a lot since the time of Walter Cronkite. That's why here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, you can learn the studio production skills of today in real time. Whether you want to work audio, direct, technical direct, design graphics, or you can even run the floor. It's all part of the Television Production and Graphics Lab here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. We're going on in 3, 2...
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Sam Stern. Heading into yesterday's showdown with the Cowboys, the Cardinals were huge 12.5-point underdogs and looking for their first win of the season, while Dallas was hoping to keep their undefeated record intact. The Cards were flying high in all three phases of the game as Joshua Dobbs finds Marquise Brown in the end zone, extending Arizona's lead to 11. Everything was going the Cardinals' way as they never trailed in the game. The first half ended with a boom as Matt Prater connected on a huge 62-yard field goal heading into halftime. And defensively, the Cards forced Cowboys QB Dak Prescott into mistake after mistake, and the Cards gave head coach Jonathan Gannon the first win of his career, 28-16, the final. The team hopes the winning ways continue moving forward.
It just proves to us that we can pull out in the tough games. I think we could have let those first two games slip through our fingers, but now to capitalize on this victory gives the team confidence. It gives you that taste of what that victory feels like, because I think there's no greater feeling in life than waking up the next morning with a victory.
ASU and UFC has had many memorable matchups as rivals in the Pac-12 Conference. And on Saturday night, the Sun Devils were hoping one more magical moment was on the way as the two programs head their separate ways next season. It was an electric atmosphere in front of a sellout crowd of more than 54,000 at Mountain America Stadium. Midway fourth quarter, Arizona State running back Cam Scatabo takes the pass from Drew Pine and runs through one Trojan, somehow keeping his balance, and then steps over a second defender, dashing 52 yards for the touchdown, pulling the Sun Devils within 7. But USC answers right back with another touchdown of their own as the reigning Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams finds Taj Washington with the scoring strike, sealing a 42-28 victory for the Trojans. Despite the loss, ASU head coach Kenny Dillingham saw some positive signs.
Better is nowhere to be confused with good. And we've got a long way to go to get to where I feel like the standard of an offense is. And we're going to go back to work this week to fine-tune some details. Like I talked to the guys, couldn't be happier with how the guys, the effort and the want to and the commitment to the process, I couldn't be happier.
Team chemistry is always a key component while striving for success on the football field. But for two Highland Hawk players, the connection goes beyond the game. Cronkite News reporter Kenji Ito has more on how the players' bond has strengthened over time, all thanks to family ties.
At Highland High School, there are two seniors that make the football team special on and off the field. Defensive end Bertrand Berry II and running back Elijah Denson. Coming from South Carolina, Denson has only been with the Hawks for a year, but in a short time, he and Berry became fast friends. And with only a couple of weeks into the school year, Denson felt comfortable as soon as he set foot on campus.
It's been pretty smooth. I'll say it is a big difference coming from the South, but like down here, it's like, it feels like home.
Head coach Brock Farrell not only noticed the relationship between the two, but how both of them have grown to help the team, each other, and themselves.
Knowing Elijah for a short time, he's come in and really jumped into what our culture is. Yeah, Bertrand's really coming to his own, so it's really been good to see him mature.
As Bertrand Berry II and Elijah Denson have built a relationship at Highland, their friendship extends through family ties and the gridiron.
Our dads kind of knew each other, and I kind of got to meet his dad for a few days. I mean, I thought it was really cool having someone that my dad's familiar with.
Their fathers, Bertrand Berry Sr. and Autry Denson, played ball together at Notre Dame. Reuniting in Arizona once again, Berry Sr. always kept in touch with Autry and maintained the same relationship they had since their playing days in South Bend.
When you play at that school, at Notre Dame, you're brothers for life, and we've maintained a relationship all through the years.
And so we've had moments where we were out of touch, but we would pick up when we started, when we would see each other, we would pick up like there was nothing missing. And I feel really blessed that now our children can share in a piece of what he and I have been sharing over the years.
With his dad teaming up with Berry Sr. back in the day, Elijah thinks his relationship with Bertrand II mirrors his dad's experience.
Cool because I really never got to meet my dad's friends' sons, per se. I just hear about them a lot, so it was pretty cool that now me and Bertrand go to the same school.
It's hard to say what the future holds for the two young players, but it could be a relationship that lasts a lifetime. In Gilbert, Kenji Ito, Cronkite News.
The Arizona Diamondbacks are in the final week of the regular season as they continue to battle for a spot in this year's postseason. Earlier today, the D-backs wrapped up their series against the Yankees in New York, and the Snakes couldn't hold on, falling short to the Bronx Bombers by a score of 6-4. Let's now take a look at the updated wild card standings. The D-backs are now tied for second place in the wild card chase with the Cubs, and the Marlins sit just one game back in that fourth spot. The D-backs wrap up the regular season with 3 games at the White Sox and 3 games at home this weekend against the Astros. The excitement for the D-backs is picking up heading into the final week of the regular season. This past Friday night, there was a watch party at Guy Fieri's Kitchen and Bar with members of the 2001 World Series title team, including Mark Grace and Jay Bell. That's it for your Cronkite Sports Report. Jacob and Tabitha, back to you.
Thanks, Sam. Coming up after the break, the newest Guinness World Record just broken in Los Angeles.
The dogs that were involved in this moment to remember.
And that's the way it is. Monday, September.
Newscasting has changed a lot since the time of Walter Cronkite. That's why here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, you can learn the studio production skills of today in real time. Whether you want to work audio, direct, technical direct, design graphics, or you can even run the floor. It's all part of the Television Production and Graphics Lab here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. We're going on in 3, 2...
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
and develop your skills with the latest technology.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication's Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
It seems like there is a Guinness World Record for just about everything, and now we have a new one.
That's right, the record was just broken for dogs attending a film screening. 219 dogs turned out to the movie yesterday in Los Angeles to screen Paw Patrol: The Mighty Movie. But attempting to break a world record is serious business. Each dog had to undergo a check-in with a vet before entering. This breaks a previous record set last year when 199 dogs attended a movie screening at a drive-in theater.
Well, that's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. Thank you for joining us.
And to see more top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.